welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation and the Yorta Yorta people, traditional custodians of the lands and airwaves where this conversation takes place. Land which was never ceded, land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Now, kin has been written about by a lot of food publications recently, and it's the glorious sounding restaurant housed in All Saints Estate's 1864 heritage-listed castle in Rutherglen. It's an ode to family by siblings Eliza, Nick and Angela Brown. Kin offers modern destination dining with a menu inspired by family recipes and childhood memories, plus the best local and estate produce. And it's helmed by the very lovely chef Jack Cassidy. While Rutherglen is very firmly on my list of places to visit, the 3-hour 20-minute drive was a bit far at this point, so Jack and I chatted on the phone. Jack is one of those chefs who never dreamed of becoming a chef and now can't imagine doing anything else. He's cooked in some incredible restaurants around the country, including Bistro Guillaume, Bedarra Island Resort, Jackalope, and is now executive chef at Kin. The way he talks about food is wonderful, and I can't wait to try some of his dishes, paired with perhaps a beautiful heritage wine from All Saints Estate. I bet you'll feel the same, because Jack's passion is palpable, and he has an infectious laugh, and laughter is brightest where food is the best. Hi Jack, it's Jo here from Conversation with the Chef. How are you?
Good, Jo. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for your time today, because it sounds like it's going really gangbusters at Kin. Like I've seen things written about it everywhere. So thank you for setting aside some time today.
No worries.
Well, let's start with where you are right now. Assuming that you are at Kin at the moment. Are you at All Saints Estate now?
So today's the day off.
So you're not there today.
No, not there today. So.
But I'm intrigued because it sounds like a pretty amazing place to work, you know, a heritage-listed castle-like building. I haven't managed to get there yet, but is it as great as it sounds?
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing, like being able to walk into, you know, the castle every day.
Yeah.
So, but then, you know, once you're inside, it's all systems go. That sort of leaves until you walk out again and go, oh, yeah, no, this is cool.
Yeah. And it sounds like it's quite big. It seats maybe 120, 130, is that right, the restaurant?
Yeah, we seat around 120, but 3 of those are sort of like private dining options, which like seat up to 10 people each, or we got one that the wall sort of slides back and you can have a table of about 20 to 25 in sort of a private dining experience.
Yeah, it sounds very lovely. And I'm just looking at some of the highlights on the menu. So it's modern Australian, is that what you'd describe it as?
Yeah, modern Australian, but sort of mixed with like the you know, country sort of vibe. You know, I'm not trying to scare anyone away or, you know, make it all pretentious. It's still to try and keep that, you know, everyone's welcome, you know, country cooking, but just with a bit of refinement and a lot of respect for the produce.
And I see that you've got quite a few indigenous plants or elements in your dishes, like saltbush and bush tomato.
Yeah.
And also kangaroo.
Yeah. So at the moment we're doing like a really nice like cured kangaroo skewer. So that gets done on the char grill, and it's also got a spice rub made from like wattle seed and pepperberry as the main sort of flavors, and then just balanced out a bit, you know, with a bit of coriander powder and cumin powder, and obviously a bit of salt and sugar, just to sort of balance.
Sounds really good. Are you have you been working with those ingredients for a while, or is this a new thing?
I've been working with them for a while, but always like I did quite a bit of it, but I never really sort of understood or like gave them like the respect that they needed. Like it's not for working with them for a while, being like, no, these are actually, you know, quite different to what growing like working in a French kitchen was. Like I was sort of off by the flavors a bit, like oh, it's a bit different. I don't get it, but now after working with them for a while and now I get it. Like okay, now this is cool.
Yeah, and I guess it's that whole terroir, isn't it? Like working with ingredients that are from the land, our land, or this land, or maybe not our land, um, the First Nations land, but the land on which we live.
Yeah.
That must, as you say, once you get your head around it, it must feel quite special to be able to incorporate those into the dishes.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. Like and just sort of like introducing other people to it more. Like most of the chefs in my kitchen at the moment, they're quite new to it as well. So just watching them sort of learn and all the weird faces that they pull when they first try it, it's like, you know, I said, oh, try this bush tomato. They're like, what? Like, what's this? Or like, aniseed myrtle, or they're all like, whoa, this is hectic. And I'm like, nah, if you use it like this and treat it like this, then we can create these really cool, like unique flavors that are unique to Australia and like not relying on, you know, techniques from other countries or whatnot that, you know, most of Australian dining was started on.
Mm. I'm not sure I'm familiar with bush tomato. What sort of flavour does it have?
They sort of they're like eggplant sort of flavoring. So we sort of treat it like that.
Okay.
So like kind of nutty, but also can be quite bitter. So we soak them in a sugar syrup to like rehydrate them and soften them, and that sort of also brings out like you know the natural sweetness in the tomato and like massive umami, like almost too much. But yeah, so we with the relish there is quite a few cherry tomatoes in there too to just balance it out.
Mm. And working on a winery, are you conscious of the wines, or is that more the job of the sommelier or the wine staff to match that to your food? Is it a
So
partnership or?
we meet like 50-50.
Yeah.
So we talk with Nick Brown, who's our winemaker, about like the flavor profiles on all the different wines, and then we go down like the traditional path of like okay, like you know, red usually goes for like red meat or this, but then we sort of just go no, what's something like a bit unconventional, but it actually works. So we sort of do like some stuff like that. So like pork and like masana or something like that. Just a bit different, get people thinking a bit.
Mm. Nice. And just looking at some of your other places, I mean, you're working in a so-called castle now, but you've also been worked on one of Australia's most unique island resorts. Is it Bedarra? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Bedarra.
That
That
sounds
was
that sounds
wicked.
amazing.
Oh, it was so good. Um, the owner Sam is just like a gentleman. I treated you like family. Like just the classic. If you were good to him and tried at your work, like he'd give you the world.
Yeah.
Like he flew us on his helicopter. We got to take the boats out to go fishing on our breaks or on our days off.
Amazing.
Like, we said we're going to Cairns for 2 nights. He like put me and my missus up in like the nicest hotel room there. Like we lived like absolute kings, and plus we got to cook some cool food.
So what kind of food were you cooking out there? A lot of seafood.
Yeah, so because it was only 12 villas, so we only had 24 people at a time, but we only had like the one kitchen, so we changed lunch and dinner menu every day.
Wow.
So we would go cooking from like modern Australian, or just so lunch was a bit more laid back and chilled. So you do like really good like fish tacos, or like a nice sometimes salad or something, or sometimes dinner we're like, cool, we're doing like all Indian tonight. Like, so from start to finish, which was challenging, but like good fun, and just sped up the learning like so fast.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you would be learning a lot with so much variety. That's amazing. And how long did people generally stay there?
Oof. We had some people would stay for a night,
Oh,
and sometimes they would stay for like 12 nights.
yeah, wow. So over those 12 nights, you're having to do something different. So is that the philosophy that no guest gets the same thing?
Repeat a dish while a guest is there.
Wow.
Yeah, so you feel like those 12 nighters, you were hanging out, especially if they were there the second night you did a dish and you want to make it better, and you're sort of fixated on making it better, but you can't do it again till they leave.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was like, or you just, by 12 days coming up with, we did 6 different dishes, so like 2 entrees, 2 mains, 2 desserts for every dinner. So you come up with 6 dishes a day, and by day 12, you're just running a blank. Like, what haven't I done?
Yeah, that's right. And
Yeah.
do you have like did you keep notebooks or anything of all of those? Because that sounds like it'd be like an amazing collection to have of all those different ideas, or is it just all in your head?
So we would keep menus, like all the dinner menus, whilst that longest day was on the island.
Mm.
So like, say if they came the 3rd of February, like that would be our last menu up there. So the menus from the 3rd all the way to the 7th would be there. So that way you couldn't repeat the dish, or and you'd know that over the last couple of days what other people have done if it's been your days off or whatever.
That requires so much organisation, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was. But we only had 4 chefs on the island to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. There's only 4 of us, so and plus we live together. Like you could hear the other person snore. We were that close. But so all we did was talk food. That was it.
Yeah, I bet. And how long were you there on the island?
I was there for about a year. I was only initially going to do 6 months, because my partner was like, I don't want you to go away for more than 6 months. And I was like, yeah, cool. I might not like it anyway. I might get homesick or whatever. But I think I ended up doing about 16 months or 18 months or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be.
She got to come up for the last 6 months, which was good.
Oh, that's good. I was going to say, because it would be, she'd be really fearing missing out on all of that, because it sounds like a pretty idyllic, well, hard work, but an idyllic place to be.
What made it worse, down in Melbourne, there was still lockdowns and stuff.
Oh, you were there then? Wow, okay.
Yeah. So when Queensland was open and Victoria was still locked down, so I was living my best life on the top of the Great Barrier Reef, and she was stuck in an apartment in St Kilda.
No. Yeah.
By herself.
So hard.
Didn't post much.
Yeah.
Didn't want to get in trouble.
No, that's right. Well, thank goodness that's all come to an end.
Yeah.
But so it sounds like you only work in really glamorous places, but where did it all start for you? What did you always know you wanted to be a chef?
No. So I grew up playing basketball my whole life, so obviously I wanted to play in the NBA. But then, I stopped growing, so that was sort of out of the question. And then when I was 15, my dad said, "Why don't you be a chef?" And I was like, don't be stupid. That sounds horrible. So I went and got a degree in graphic design. And as I was sort of doing the tail end of it, I had to go work in an office. So I did that for 4 or 5 months. And I was like, this isn't for me. So then my friend was like, oh, why don't you be a chef? Because he was a chef as well. He's like, what are you going to be a chef? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. He's like, no, my mate works at this restaurant. He'll look after you, set you up or whatever. Anyway, so that restaurant ended up being Bistro Guillaume.
Wow.
So
good place to start.
yeah, but I didn't know it was a good place to start. I just thought that was normal.
Right.
So, and yeah, that was like a really good place to sort of get your hands dirty, and learn like, I guess like the traditional French methods, like the mother cooking or things like that. So that was a good place to start.
And did you start like right down the bottom and work your way up, or?
Yeah, I started as an apprentice.
Yeah.
Yeah, first year apprentice, clearing. Oh yeah, I think everyone thought I was overpaid. I was on like $7.80 or something. Yeah, like, oh geez, that's so good for an apprentice. Yep.
Wow. Wow. So that's really interesting. So your dad and that mate obviously saw something in you, or why do you reckon they were suggesting that you become a chef? Did you do any cooking at home?
I didn't do much cooking at home. I was just sort of running out of other stuff. Like I didn't, like I don't know. I just, as soon as I got in there and started doing it, and after like the 3rd month of like not wanting to go, and then something sort of like clicked, and then it started to become enjoyable. I started to understand the routine and the pace that you had to work at, and just the vibe of the whole kitchen. Once I started to work that out and build relationships with the other chefs in there, I fell in love. And it was just like, there was nothing else. Like I never even thought of like a career change or.
Wow.
Like, I don't want to get out of cooking.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's so good. I love hearing that. And it does sound like it's an overall thing for you, because clearly you take great pride in the food that you're creating, but it is the vibe of the kitchen or the venue as well, which is good. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's pretty amazing. So you were in Bistro Guillaume, and then did you go to Jackalope after that, or?
No, so I hopped around. I was Bistro Guillaume. It ended up being quite long days. Just because doing lunch and dinner 7 days a week.
Wow.
So I tried like cafe cooking, and I ended up working for this guy who called Scott, who was a sous chef at Supernormal back in the day. And we were at this cafe, and it was called Mighty Boy, and it was like a little Asian style cafe. And he introduced me to like Asian flavors and like techniques, and just the rush. I thought, it was fast paced at Bistro. Like this cafe, mate, it was a little thumper. We'd make like 120 pad thais in about 45 minutes.
What?
In a lunch rush.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
And just like the techniques and the flavors. Like, he taught me how to make like pho. We were doing like parmesan. We're doing like all these weird sort of flavors that was so new to me. It's just like eye-opening. I was like, oh my god, I know nothing. He just took me right back to square one again. I felt like an apprentice on that first day. So after doing that, I hopped around a few other kitchens, sort of trying to find which way I wanted to go with cooking, tried like the pub style. So I worked at Hotel Sorrento for a bit, massive, and that was just huge. And that was good to see, like the production side of how you can pump out. Like we were doing like 2,000 people like in a service over like the peak summer.
Oh, it is huge there though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a monster.
Yeah.
And just all the different aspects of like managing a place like that and see how that all operates. Like, you know, like buying fish like by the pallet, like not even by the kilo.
I hadn't really thought of, I really hadn't even thought of that side of it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And then, so after doing that, I sort of realised, like, no, I like refinement. So I sort of wanted to go back down into, like, I guess more fine dining sort of thing, but, like, try not, like, with no pretentiousness or anything like that. That's sort of the goal I want to achieve eventually, is be like, just, you know, keep it simple.
Yeah. So it sounds as though you've been quite deliberate in trying out lots of different places and certainly learning lots of different styles of food. Do you think you've still got more to learn?
Oh, stacks. Stacks more to learn. Just doing everything. Like, I talk to suppliers a lot more now. Like, you know, breaking them, being like, okay, but like, how do you get to this? Like, where, like, you know, where they come, like, where's the beef coming from? Like, you know, how long is it grain? Like, I'm more invested now in that part of it rather than, okay, this is like finished product on the plate. Like, okay, here's your steak and chips or whatever. Like, like no, like, I still want to learn and the agricultural side too. Like, so being up here in like northern Victoria, it's like you're so much closer to all the farmers and everything. So
that's
true. I have the
true.
opportunity to go visit them and all that.
Well, I've spoken to Annie Smithers a few times in the past. I'm not sure she's out at Trentham at Du Fermier, and she grows a lot of what she makes for the restaurant. And she talks about how when you do grow produce, that you have a greater respect for it and you're less likely to waste ingredients and so on. So I think I really like the idea that you're investing in the whole journey of the dish, and I think that does bring with it a respect for the food.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like that. So like my favourite restaurant is Oh My. And how they pretty much do, like, I think it's like 85% of their menu comes from their farm.
Yeah.
And I've been like watching their journey from the start. How small it was to how big it is now is like, it's also something like I want to go that journey as well. Like, it looks and sounds like a lot of hard work, but I mean the rewards will be worth it.
Yeah, Blaine is so well organised. I walked and talked with him, so we did a conversation with the chef, but while we walked around his farm / garden, and he maps it out. You know, like, he's got a chef's mind in his garden, so it's all totally knows where everything is. It's all mapped according to like what's seasonally going to change into something else, and I was there quite. I mean, a few years ago now. So as you say, he's just got bigger and bigger, and is making more of the food that he, or you know, using his eggs and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, it's pretty impressive. It's a pretty impressive operation.
Yeah. He's such a nice guy too.
Absolutely.
But there's got to be something wrong, doesn't there? He's nice. He's a good chef. Like, he's got a wicked philosophy about food. Like, there's got to be something.
No, we should all strive to be more Blaine.
Yeah.
Well, it's good though. So, and in terms of, so that's a good thing to think, maybe for you, maybe to be aiming towards. But then, where do you get your inspiration now? Do you look at cookbooks, or are you, obviously you're inspired by the produce, but you know, are you looking at other people's food on Instagram? Where are you bouncing ideas off?
At the moment, I've been getting given a lot of like old cookbooks from like op shops that are like native Australian ones, or like floral and fauna books which are native to Australia as well. And I've sort of just been going through them and then calling my suppliers, being like, how long will it take you to get this? Like, is this possible? Is this, like, can we get it? Like, who do I have to call to connect you to get them? Because that's, yeah, and then just taking an ingredient and putting a dish around it. So, like, the protein of the dish might come last.
Yeah, right.
Like, it might be based around, like, a herb or, like, even, like, a strawberry. Like, all right, well, what are we going to do with this strawberry? And then, it'd be good, like, a sorbet, like a red wine sorbet. Like, okay, cool. But, like, the main focus is strawberry. And, yeah, build, like, the main component might even just come last.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I think I've heard a couple of people say that's a new tack they're taking as well, is to leave the protein till last and think about the other flavours, which is great. It's, good approach.
Well, there's a lot more, vegetables and spices and, flora, fauna, rather than compared to proteins.
Yes, true.
So I think thinking it down that path sort of opens you up to a lot of different flavour profiles rather than being like, okay, I know duck, goes with plum.
Yeah.
So, but if you go like plum, you're like, oh, can I ferment the plum? Like, oh, can I do this to the plum? Like, oh, actually really weird, but would work is like, Murray cod. Because like you made the sauce like rich enough or, savoury enough that it actually would complement a river fish rather than, a duck.
Yeah. So when you're coming up with those ideas, are you always sure they'll work, or do they?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, not a chance. I fail heaps. And then everyone's in the kitchen watching me like, oh, what's he creating? This? They go, oh, can we taste? They go, nah, not a chance. That's horrible.
But I think that's an important lesson, isn't it? I think, you do have to try those things to then come up with the good stuff and not be afraid of failing or, going down a different path with the flavour profile. Yeah, it's good. So with all that in mind and your experience up until now, what would your advice be to a young person who was thinking of becoming a chef?
I would say go onto the Good Food Guide and find a smaller kitchen that has a really good head chef, so whether it be like 2 hats or 1 hattie, something like that, and just go put yourself in their face and be like, I want to learn. So yeah, don't just go down to your local because they're paying a little bit more or whatever. Just spend like 5 years finding the right people to teach you, or like what style you might want to go down, because like that will help you so much more than just going to work. Like if you got someone who can mentor you, it makes it a lot easier, and like they really help your passion and make you keep that passion.
I think that's really good advice. Thank you. And thank you for your time. I can't wait to come out to Rutherglen and try the food for myself and see the fancy castle. But thanks so much, Jack. And look, enjoy the rest of your day off, and hopefully I'll meet you in person one day.
Yes, please come up and visit. We'll look after you.
Okay, thank you. See you.
See you, Joe.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Jack Cassidy at Kin at All Saints Estate in Rutherglen. You can check out all the goodness that is Kin on Instagram at kin.allsaintsestate. And if you liked what you heard and you want to hear about some other chefs, I am also on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read the chat at www.conversationwithachef.com, and I would love it if you told a friend about the chats. And there's a lot of bands here, but you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Once again, thanks for listening and have an awesome day.